My name is 𝘂𝗽𝗀𝗶𝗹𝗹 to all the viewers watching this particular video. I'm from the city of Calcutta, and I graduated from KIT School of Law, Bhubaneswar in the year 2019. And I'm currently working as an in-house legal counsel at Integra Software Services, which is based out of Pondicherry and Chennai. Presently working from home due to the ongoing pandemic, and talking about the interest areas, practice areas which I currently work in the in-house field are, it's actually multifarious, but primarily it is focused on technology law, then data privacy, GDPR, a lot of GDPR related stuff, and mostly contracts. So these are the areas where I practice now. Of course, there are other areas as well. Talking about my own personal practice areas, I am very much interested in tech law, data protection, and also competition law, merger and acquisition, and general corporate. So that's about me. I actually, to trying to keep it brief, yet giving a lot of insight. So I came across this course of a diploma on cyber law from LawSikho. I came across this particular course when I was just searching for on online courses on tech law, because it's everyone knows that it's how much booming this particular field of law is at this stage. And I came across two courses, to be very frank. The one was something related to technology contracts, and this one, which was a diploma course. Technology contracts was for a period of 5 or 3 months. I'm not too sure about that. But this one was for a year, and it's difficult to commit for a year's time for a particular course where, as a working professional. As a student, it is still manageable, but as a working professional, it is difficult to get that bandwidth to commit yourself to a course. So I came across this particular course, and I was confused between the two, because I did not know exactly which one would meet my expectation. So I was in touch with a few people from LawSikho, and they helped me bring a lot of clarity as to which course would be the right choice for me. So hence I started off the course on diploma, because I felt that I saw the syllabus and I saw the course structure, the materials and everything. I did get an insight on that, and that helped me making my choice. So far the experience has really been great, and I would say it's very transformative in one sense, because it brings a lot of clarity to our own concepts of law, to the concepts we have on just reading online materials, and having a teacher who is just not a teacher like we had in our law school. They are working professionals, so they have been working on life matters of that particular area for a considerable number of time, considerable years. So they will definitely bring in more clarity to those concepts than anybody else. And especially when the area is such a niche area and a new area where it's very difficult to find the exact knowledge, exact happenings of the practical world. So I think that is why I say it has been a transformative experience, because the course started off with classes on GDPR, then a lot of things related to software license concepts, and those things I think that I would credit massively to those teachers who actually sacrifice their time to help us understand those concepts. So it was very, very transformative experience. So this is a very interesting, actually, and I think there are a number of courses online in various other platforms, and for that matter in LawSikho as well. But I do feel something about online courses, or any course for that matter, that if you're not able to apply those courses to what you're working, I think that the time you spend on that course kind of falls flat, because I totally believe in this, because if today I'm doing a particular course and there is no application of that course to what I am doing in my practical life, I think there's absolutely I do find that you do have a lot of takeaways from that course. Definitely those credentials are there, but it won't be as impactful as a course where you are actually be able to apply those things which you learn in your practical field. So I started off this course while I was not working in this particular field, that is the technology law, and I was not working at that time on data privacy. It was just my interest in learning those that made me choose the course. But when I started working at this company where I'm presently working, everything dealt with tech law aspects and the finer concepts of tech law. A lot of things on GDPR, a lot of things on data privacy. So thankfully, I actually started off the course in such a timeline where I've already gained some of the concepts already. To give examples would be, actually there are many examples to put forth that what I learned was actually applicable in my practice area. But at the very forefront, I mean, I started working at this place in August 2020, and when I started off working, one of the first assignments I was working on was open source software licenses primarily. So when I started working on that, thankfully in July or in June, I was going through the course materials and I found this particular module. I don't remember the exact module's name, but the module had dealt with open source software license. So it was very, I kind of recall that I have seen somewhere this particular concept, but I could not recall. And then I understood that it was there in the LawSikho course material. And during that time only, there was a class also which kind of was taken on software licenses. And I went through the modules, and the modules had one thing I would like to credit LawSikho on the materials. Of course, the teachers are there, and that is one part of the teaching. If someone who is learning from LawSikho or taking up any courses, if that person can also, along with the teachers' classes, can go through the modules, I think the materials have immensely, like, it has everything which is to be provided about that particular subject in a very concise manner, in a very brief manner. So there won't be a much of hassle in looking up at various other searching for other materials and all. It is not necessary, to be very frank. If you want to know and get an understanding of the entire thing, like what is the concept, what are the case laws, how is it applicable in the field of law, what is happening in the international sphere as well. So I think that encompasses a lot about a particular concept. So open source licenses, yeah, what I was talking about is that I was working on this assignment on open source software licenses, and it so happened that I went through those materials and I got a fair bit of an understanding of what that open source license is all about. So that was one such example. The other examples were, there were a few others, mostly to do with software license agreements. Then SaaS agreement. There was, I was working on something related to SaaS agreements, and to anybody for that matter who is just having a niche on technology, and they won't really understand. They will understand what a SaaS is, what a PaaS is, but it will be difficult to know what a SaaS agreement is, what a SaaS agreement entails. And suddenly, if you are given an assignment that you have to redline, or you have to review a SaaS agreement or any agreement, it is kind of you are kind of hitting. You are just standing right in front of a moving bus, and it's going to hit you very hard. And it's very difficult to understand those particular concepts, and not only understand the concept, you have to understand how it applies to your field as well, how you can apply to that concept, how you can apply that concept to your field. So SaaS agreement, working on SaaS agreement, the third party API integration, assignments were all on these, and the assignments, having done those assignments, it was very easy for me to transition those concepts and whatever I have understood to apply to what I am working on. So there has been numerous examples, but these three I can remember at the top of my head at this point of time. But I think that's what I was talking about with LawSikho. The materials, the teaching and the classes were so so transformative that you will suddenly feel that while working on that particular assignment or a particular task, you feel that you already know about this thing. You already have done several assignments on this particular subject. Maybe you have to, of course, you have to have done your additional research. Those things are there. But that first step towards a particular concept has already been cleared off if you have attended the classes and gone through the necessary materials, attended the assignments and everything. So yeah, those could be some of the examples how LawSikho helped me is still helping me in my professional field. See, as an in-house counsel, we have three different. If I just focus on, because I was always either I had three choices, to be very frank. I was not much inclined towards judiciary or preparing for government exams. I was always interested in either working for in a law firm, or as an in-house counsel, or choosing for litigation. So my internships has all been towards these particular fields only. And as an in-house counsel, what I personally note right now, though my internships were mostly in law firms, and there were only two places in two companies where I interned. So the concept of in-house counsel is very, I would say, in our Indian market, is very restrictive. It is very kind of it's opaque, I would say. But to be very honest, I think that in-house counsel, in-house roles are becoming all the more important, if not more important than any other working field. So working as an in-house counsel, my experience for this limited amount of time has taught me one thing very, very seriously, that I have read somewhere this concept. I had read somewhere that as a law firm, what happens is you become very focused on one particular area of practice. And in in-house counsel, you have to be the jack of all trades. Okay, even if you are not master of one particular area, but you have to have the jack of all trades kind of and mindset. And that is what my manager also keeps telling me these days. And that is something I've understood right now, is that I have to have at least a basic amount of knowledge of all the areas. And I can't say that this is not something I am not practicing. This is not something, this is not under my domain. And so so it's very different. It's very different when working as an in-house counsel at a company. And all the more important is the fact that you have to have a very, very good understanding of the business that we are doing, that your company is doing basically. You have to have that understanding, because what happens is that when you are working in the field of law, we know for a fact that it is no more restricted only to the law. You can't say that I only know the law and I do not know how it is happening in the practical field. I mean, you choose any other, you go to any other particular areas of practice. You go to dispute resolution. You have to have, if you are practicing as a criminal lawyer, you have to understand the happenings and the know-hows of how the police operates, how investigation takes place, and everything, all those details. Same goes for in a law firm. Same goes for an in-house counsel as well. You have to have a great understanding about the business, because that is how you will be able to move forward in an in-house capacity. My advice, if I have to put it across that way, would be to start understanding different businesses. In the sense, if today I want to know about the media industry, just giving an example. If I want to know about the media industry, I should not only know what are the contracts a producer or a film producer or a music producer or an artist agreement, what are the contracts that are being signed. That won't be only thing. You have to understand how a music is recorded even. You have to understand how an event management takes place, how an event management company operates. You have to understand their very, very finer details about the business. Because once you understand that, you will have an easy way of applying the law. And until and unless you are able to grasp that business properly, it's very difficult to survive in an in-house capacity. That would be one advice I would say. And how to understand, how to get an understanding of those, I would say, and that is something I believe it operates for students who are seeking for internships as well, would be networking properly. And people always say that networking is important, but how to network and networking properly. By networking properly, I mean to build proper connections, to build proper relationships. It's not just you can't. I've seen a lot of students who what they do is pop up the LinkedIn messages and just send a message directly that I want an internship at your place, and that kind of sets the tone of for the student who is reaching for the person whom the student is reaching out to. And there are students whom I have found that they have a proper way of communicating why they want to intern at that particular company, why they want to work as an in-house counsel at a particular company. So that wanting or that why should be very clear. And as a student, it is of course very difficult to understand why this is important. And sometimes you just fall into a particular place. It's not something that is always going to plan accordingly how you have set your mind towards. Sometimes you have to have that capacity of adaptability. And that is also something I would say an in-house counsel needs to have. The aspect of adaptability. You can't be very restrictive in your approach as an in-house counsel. You can't be I do not know a particular area of law. I have never read about that. So that brings me to my first point, that you have to be jack of all trades. So there is no such thing as I haven't read about this aspect. I'm not interested, because it happened with me. I am not very interested in employment related laws. I'm not very inclined towards those practice areas. But I have to right now. I have to adapt myself to learning those. I have to adapt myself to knowing about those finer details about those laws. So that would be my advice as of now to the people who want to work in an in-house capacity at a company. To be very frank, I think the way it is operating now, it is very much, I think, supportive of how it wants, what a student is seeking for. I am also a student of LawSikho, even though I'm just a working professional right now. But I felt very supportive whenever I had any doubts, whenever I had any queries, any sort of support I just needed, that maybe my assignment can be, maybe my deadline for submitting an assignment can be pushed for another week or so. That has always been supportive. But a piece of recommendation I would say would be for working professional. It gets very difficult to manage time, and also to to manage the time, and to not have that. It's very difficult to have that bandwidth to submit the assignments and also articles every month. So of course there are ways which I have found that LawSikho is very lenient towards working professional as well when it comes to tight deadlines and submissions. But it would be very helpful for because what happens with working professional is if already it's very difficult to manage time between working and other aspects of life, and then if I'm doing a course and there is additional, it feels like an additional burden, then it gets very difficult to have that same interest for that course. But I think there, if somehow the course can be structured in a way which is more structured specifically for working professional, it would be definitely helpful for them. But otherwise, I think there are no complaints. There are no such pointers which I would say that I would say that LawSikho should change in these manners or something. It's just this one point which I felt that maybe somehow it can be made suitable for the working professional. It would be helpful. Otherwise, I think LawSikho has always been very supportive of what and when I want. It definitely focuses on individual, even though the course, every course will have so many people joining. It has so many students, but I think that was never an issue for reaching out to the course instructors. The course instructors, I would like to thank, actually, take a minute to thank Aniket, who was my course instructor. He was supremely supportive of whenever I used to call him up with my doubts or my questions. I think the course instructors need to be credited because they are very much supportive of how I want to see the course and how I want to complete the course. Whenever I needed something, some help, even if I haven't reached out to them directly, somehow Aniket used to call me up and ask me about my where am I stuck, or where am I having facing any difficulties. So yeah, kudos to the course instructors and also the teachers as well. So yeah, so it's actually been a very transformative journey, as I said.